dead, where evil lurks in every shadow, and monsters roam the streets. Mankind's only survival rests in the hands of two Welsh warriors, armed with boomsticks, chainsaws, bad language. These beacons of hope will stop at nothing to obliterate deadites, vampires, psychotic nurses. So, hold tight, strap in, and let the professionals take charge. Otherwise, you're in for a rough, blood-soaked night.
Hey, we alive. All right?
Hey. Oh, what a bloody nightmare, Jenks.
Technical problems.
Oh, do you know, I spent 2 days on this new background. I cannot master the lighting at all.
Yeah. Have you asked your missus to help you?
Oh, yeah. We've spent like 2 hours before this live trying to do it.
Did you get the live lamps I told you about?
Yeah, I got 2 of them. They came today. 2
fuck.
seconds. I didn't plug my Ethernet cable in.
Oh, for Christ's sake, cowboy.
That's probably why my mic didn't sound good.
Yeah, it's not quite sounding like your usual. But as long as mine sounds good, nobody cares about you.
Aye, all right. But what do you think of the background, Jenks? Get in there.
I'm loving it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I love the shelf.
I want to sort out natural lighting. Right now is like an attack on me.
Yeah.
There's dark shit behind me.
Yeah.
But it's a process, Jenks.
When I was doing mine, like I said, I'm not an expert. My light is not perfect, but it took me a while, and then he's gone.
I
he's
should
back.
be here now. My Ethernet's plugged in, and I should be here.
Your actually mic sounds better now.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
Definitely.
yes, what I would suggest, don't get frustrated. Just keep tweaking. And I was getting a bit overwhelmed watching video after video of lighting, and I thought, oh, do I need like massive lights, like expensive ones? I thought we're not that kind of studio. We're chatting. It's a different sort of
yeah,
channel.
I get that. And you know, I've put a lot of stress on myself to get the perfect background.
Yeah.
And the last thing I wanted was to turn my bedroom into a studio, and I've taken up half of the bedroom now with all between like the lighting and the desk and this behind me. So I'm feeling a little bit guilty, Jenks. I'm feeling very guilty.
You'd be guilty if it was in your dining room and everybody's having dinner and you're like, hey, everybody. It's all like posh people having dinner. Oh, with all forks, different cutlery.
Well, that aside, Jenks.
Yeah.
How are you today, my friend?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was working right up until 5 to 7. I was here on time, but obviously your shit wasn't working.
You're calling me a cowboy.
I know.
You need to get your shifts in order, pal.
I usually work at 8 on Thursday, so you're in luck. Yeah, I've had a good day actually. So I watched an episode of Severance, episode 5.
Yeah,
it's well made. It's slick. I'm just not caring. I think the premise was all about the premise. The first series was all about the premise. This one kind of mopping stuff up, and it hasn't got me yet. Although,
that's a shame. I haven't started it yet. I was waiting for my girlfriend to watch season 1, but she hasn't done that yet, Jenks. And I'm dying to watch it.
Cut her loose. Yes. Is there any way you can turn your mic up slightly on your end?
Oh, volume wise?
Tiny bit, yeah. Like the gain. Don't worry about it.
No idea. Am I quiet, am I?
No, not quite. I've turned you up my end. Doesn't matter. It's fine. Yeah. I did watch Daredevil. See, episode 1 and 2 just dropped on Disney Plus, and now I know you haven't seen Daredevil, the Netflix one, have you? Or did you say you
None
have?
of them. None of them.
Highly recommend the Netflix Daredevil. It's violent, gritty. It is one of the best fighting. There's a famous scene in season 1 where he fights loads of bad guys in a corridor, and it's one take, and it's a good 10 minutes of constant fighting. There's lots of long takes. It's not like a Marvel show like the shitty ones. This is like
I know about it. Yeah.
But what I loved about the Netflix one when it came out was that as a kickboxer myself, I know how tiring it is. It's knackering. And in fights, when you got people who are not getting tired, in Daredevil, he is getting exhausted. He's panting. You can see his chest going. He's getting sloppier the more he fights. And I thought, oh my God, finally. It's like
Yeah.
he's still beating these bad guys, but he's actually reacted properly, It's really good.
Yeah. It's not like John Wick falling out of a 20-story building onto a car, getting up and then running away, of course.
No, it's nonsense, isn't it? But yeah, but season, so the new Daredevil on.
Wait there. We're talking about Daredevil too much now. This is a horror podcast,
Okay,
Jenks. We're here to talk about the
right.
80s.
Yes. Now, I got a treat for you. I've done a bit more work than I normally do. I did have the idea of the critical drinker, so I don't care. Yeah. So
I don't care.
we are doing 1983 best and worst horror. So I thought we'd kick it off, Curtis. You didn't know I was going to do this. Talking a little bit about what was happening on the year 1983. So it was the first year. It was the year where the internet came out. That's interesting. I haven't got loads of boring war stuff. Just Michael Jackson's Thriller came out.
Yes.
No, it's a great album. It's zombies in the video, which is probably it is the best music video ever made, bar none, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got a little fact for you.
Go on.
It was the first year to release more than one Stephen King movie. So up until this point, there was one Stephen King movie a year. This year, you got 3 Stephen King movies.
Yes.
This was when he was really amping it up in popularity. 83, he was absolutely rife. He was hot property and still is now.
Well, he's had a resurgence, very similar.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first Blackadder was invented. Rowan Atkinson's genius show Blackadder aired in 1983. The pound coin was invented. Came out in 1983.
I love that.
Well, it used to be
An
pound
invention, like a scientist.
Okay, well, it used to be pound notes up until that point.
Yeah, I heard Thomas Edison helped create the pound coin.
Mobile phones came out. So they were invented 10 years earlier, but as an experiment, but they had one to buy, somebody could have it. And the last fact, Mario Brothers came out, their first solo game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I actually knew that one.
Yeah. What do you think of that little touch to the video?
But I love it. I liked it, Jenks. Very classy. But did you know how Mario came to be?
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but you know how Donkey Kong came to be?
I haven't got a fucking clue.
So the Donkey Kong game was Popeye, and it was built to be Popeye. Donkey Kong was going to be, who's the big guy from Popeye?
Blue. No, what's his fucking name?
Pluto. Yeah, so he was Donkey Kong, and Popeye was
Mario.
The one climbing up. And obviously the woman was, what's her name, whatever.
Olive
Oil. And at some point, they lost the rights to Popeye. So they just created their own characters to release the game. And that's how Mario was born.
Well, that's
Oh, no, I did no prep either. I didn't know you were going to do this, Jenks, but I've got facts of my own.
Well, I am gonna do it.
You want the prep boy.
I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it every one of these we do. I'm going to do a little prep. I'm not going to do boring ones. There was loads of like war stuff. I thought, no, I want to know Mario and mobile phones and Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
It. Right. We've been waffling on, but
yes, I'll read some comments first.
Yes.
Let's have a look. We've got Wendy Palfrey. Evening, Curtis.
Thanks for that.
Wait, Fred. There's a twist.
Oh,
Jenks, that one takes too long.
Do you know that reminded me of? Have you seen The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, but not in a long time.
Okay, well, right at the end of the adventure, she goes, "I'm going to miss you all, but I think I'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow." And everyone's like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Cheeky bitch."
Why is Tin Man from Brooklyn now? Oh! oh!
Hey, oh, hey, oh!
Evening, Wendy. Thanks for jumping on.
Hi, Wendy.
We've got Palf. What a midweek treat this is. It is. Wendy agrees. Jenks, can
Yes.
we change this?
I did it
Are
for
we
a
able to?
reason. I did it for a reason because I can change it. You'll understand why I did in a sec, but I will change it just for you because, hang on, it is
It's
annoying.
taken a long time.
Yeah, let me just get the simpler one. There we are.
There we are. We've got Jordan Moran, midweek party time. Thanks for jumping on, Jordan. Appreciate you,
Yes.
pal. We've got Ella Star. Hi, boys. Good
Hi,
evening,
Ella.
everyone. Happy Thursday. And a little compliment of Jordan. Looks great. Thank you very much, pal. I still have some work to do, but I'm quite happy with it. Looks nice. Right, that's caught up.
Right. Do you want to
Should we get
kick?
into
Do you
it?
want to kick things off, Kurt?
Yeah, I'll kick things off. I'll kick your head in.
As you know, I'm a kickboxer, Curtis.
I'm a street fighter, yeah. Right. I didn't realize it would come up so quick. Right. So my first pick. I ruined the tension.
I prepped it. You should have known.
Right. So my first pick in 1983, and it's a Stephen King one. We've got Cujo. Now, I'm going to say something here that's going to divide people, but I mean it. I think this is the best animal turned killer movie there is, and that's including Jaws, right?
Yeah.
I think Jaws is a great movie, but it's never been one that I've been attracted to. It's never one that I've gone back to and watched loads.
Yeah.
But this is a movie that has been on repeat for me since I was young. I remember my mother had this one on VHS, and it has not aged a day. It's fantastic. It's a basic story. Dee Wallace and her son, they go to the farm to get their car fixed.
Yeah.
The farmer's not there, or the mechanic, I should say, not a farmer. He's not a farmer, but it looks like a farm. So she goes there and the car breaks down, obviously, because she takes it to get fixed by the mechanic. The mechanic is nowhere to be seen. Unfortunate for them, they've got a dog, Cujo. He's a Saint Bernard. Early on in the film, he got bit by a rabid bat, and he's turned rabid, basically. And then the whole film, or I should say from the second point of the movie, they're stuck in this car. They can't go anywhere because Cujo is circling them. And what's amazing about this movie is the intensity of it. And they use 15 dogs in this movie, 15 different dogs, because
they kept dying. Next!
Dee Wallace said herself, you can overwork an actor, but you can't overwork a dog because it's not something you want to mess with. So they had 15 dogs on set. You can't tell in the film that there's 15 different dogs. There's a few shots now and again where he looks a bit slimmer.
Well, apart from when they pull out a pug. So, yeah, that's continuity. Where's the continuity guy? Sorry.
The first half of the movie, I will say, is a little bit slow. It does get bogged down in the drama of her relationship. She's having an affair with her husband's best friend. And I'd say the first half is a little bit unnecessary. I've read the book. It feels a little bit more necessary there, but I always just want to get to the second part of the film. Now, it's good to build things up. You do cut between them and Cujo slowly turning. And what's good about it, and this is what the film does great, sorry if I'm waffling, is that people hate dogs dying in movies, right?
I don't mind.
And they don't like dogs. They don't like seeing dogs be harmed, right? But they do such a perfect job of painting this dog as the ultimate killer. Even though he's a nice, friendly dog at the start, he is the ultimate killer. And they build that up by he kills one of the neighbors, he kills someone else. And then by the time they've turned up, he's a fully fledged killer. And all the shit that goes down in that car, and then you get to that final bit, you don't give a shit if this dog dies. In fact, you want them to kill the dog. And that's what's crazy about this film, is that they push you to the absolute edge with it. You've got a good solid 50 minutes where they're stuck in that car. She's trying to save her son. I think he's got asthma and he keeps having attacks. He keeps passing out. But yeah, for me, this is the best killer animal movie by a long shot. I'm a huge fan of this film.
Yeah, I saw this as a kid. I really enjoyed it. I surprised more people didn't name their dogs Cujo. because after this film.
Yeah. Would you want
Like,
to?
well, if you had like a little shit dog, like a Chihuahua, and
Yeah,
he's
little
called
shit dog.
CUJO, you'd laugh. I
Sick
got a
'em, boy.
I got a friend who's got a dog called Begbie. It's a great name.
Yeah, Begbie.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
That Robert Carlyle, innit?
Yeah. I love this movie, and you know, this shows the versatility of Stephen King. You know, he can do clown films, he can do fucking zombie films, he can do
Oh
whatever he
God, yeah.
wants, and he can do a killer dog. And this
Do you
is
know?
one of the best adaptations easily.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know the dogs were too happy on set, so they had to sellotape their tails down because their tail was wagging all the time. You can't have a killer
Ah,
dog with a wagging tail, so they actually had to sellotape the tail down so you couldn't see it wagging. But
that's
they
mad.
apparently they had a great time on set. And funny enough, Dee Wallace was just on Things podcast, Rosenbaum.
Oh yeah, Michael Rosenbaum. Yeah, he's
Yeah, so they were.
Inside You or something it's called.
Yeah, so they were talking about Cujo and some great insights from Dee Wallace on that one. But what the craziest one was, right, is that it is the warmest film in the movie, right? The sun is sweltering, she's dripping wet. You can see their lips are all chapped. They filmed it in winter and they were freezing cold.
Is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
got
just
it.
mad. It's mad the conception we see because we see it on
Yeah.
film. Do you know what I mean?
I watched this very, very young. Okay, I didn't. I remember watching it with my mother, and she had to explain what was going on with the bat and what rabies was. Because as a kid, you're thinking, "What's the bat?
Yeah.
Why the bat?" Doesn't make any sense. I didn't understand. I thought, "Oh, why is he nasty?" She explained what rabies was to like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, whatever it was. But yeah, good call. I like this film, and I gotta say, um, there's loads of shit Stephen King films. He's done so. There's been so many that there's loads of good ones. But if you probably counted them up, there's probably more shit than good. But this is definitely one of the better ones. Definitely, if you haven't
Yeah,
seen.
definitely.
I'm gonna read a few comments, Kurt, before. Give me a sec.
Is there any? If there is, my comments aren't working.
Oh, yeah, a nightmare.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, the last comment I can see is off Jordan saying it's this one.
uh, no, it's loads. It doesn't matter, right? Where are we now? Let me find you. Uh, so, Skilly Automatic says, "Hey, hey, y'all, how's it going?
Hey, this is one of our newest viewers, and
Awesome.
you've been fantastic lately. Thank you so much for jumping on
Yeah,
all our videos and commenting and
yes,
interacting. We appreciate you so much.
and all that because we're a relatively new channel. We've been going just over a year, which in YouTube terms is pretty new. So all these comments help tell the algorithm there's actually some engagement. And
Yes, yeah.
yeah, Jordan Moran's in the house. Best year ever.
It was a bloody great year, Jordan. Bloody
I
great year.
I was a whopping 4 years old.
When this came out,
Yeah. I didn't watch it when I was
Jesus
4.
Christ, I wasn't born for another, what, 10 years?
I know. You missed all the good. You missed all the good stuff. Saying I don't like half the stuff you like, and it's all
No,
wrong
I
this
know.
time. It's meant to be the other way around. Of like, Joe, you don't know what you're missing, and it's like you're meant to be like, I only like things from 2001. That's the opposite. I only like things from 2001. Bye. Frankie D's back. Oh, cheers for jumping on, buddy. Really appreciate it. I'm not sure if you're a girl or a boy, but Frankie, I'm assuming you're a guy. Good evening, lads and chat, my fellow horror fiends. Oh, love it.
Good evening, Frankie. Jenks, never assume.
Never assume.
Never
assume
assume.
someone's gender. Sorry, you say?
I was just going to say, Ella, I expect another great recommendation of you today. If you can get one out for me, I will watch it as soon as I can because the last one you recommended was an absolute banger.
Yeah.
So, Jordan Moran's got a fair few for me. I'll give him that. I've got 2 solid films from Jordan. I need another one from you, Ella.
I gotta say, I forgot to mention earlier, but I watched The Gorge. From you telling me there was worth a watch,
Yeah,
but not amazing. I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars.
I read your review, boy, in detail. I read
I
every line of it.
Yeah, I genuinely thought that because the character part of the story was so well written and the premise that I forgive any of the ropey monsters.
Yeah.
Because I think the film went downhill oddly enough, it should have been the best bit, the monster bit. But I was just so engaged in their sort of love story. I like those as an actors. I thought they were great. She's great as a Russian. It's so believable, is she?
Oh, 100%. Sorry.
So
that's
have you
weird.
got him working now?
No, it's fine. You just keep going through them,
Cool.
Jex.
So Elstar, loving the trivia. Thank you. It was a last minute thought. I thought, you know what? I'm a big fan of
Oh,
Critical Drinker, and he always does. What?
she was on about my CUJO trivia, obviously, Jex. Come
Oh,
on.
she wasn't. Dick in the Dirt. Love the name. Bluto. Yeah, not Pluto.
Yes.
Bluto. Yes,
Pluto,
good
that's
call.
it. That's the one.
I love the name. Dick in the Dirt. That's amazing. I'm going to steal that. Yeah, don't you? Yeah. Davy Deathray's in the house. Hey there, gents. How's everything doing on this fine Thursday? It's awesome. I'm so chuffed you jumping on, buddy, because your channel is awesome and so good to have you back. You took
Yes.
a 2-week sabbatical, probably well deserved, and you're back, all guns blazing. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
and
it's
if you
nice to have you back, Davy.
and if you haven't checked his channel out, check it out. It's Davy Deathray. He's a horror channel. He does a shitload of live stuff. He is the master at it. He should be by now. He's done enough live shows. It's great, you know. I'm sure he did 2 one day, didn't he? Remember you said when he had
8 in one day on a Sunday as well.
no, but I'm sure he did 2 when he passed 1,000 subscribers. I'm sure you told me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You must have been bored. So David Etheridge says, whoa, what the hell did you just say about Jaws? There was fighting words. I know there was. I know, come on, that was a bit ridiculous.
It was controversial.
Can you see now why I didn't have that? See, some of you is covered up by the words. That's why I had this format.
Ah, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
All right. Hey Davey. Oh, sorry, 1 second. This movie is so stressful.
So stressful.
I just can't wait for the dog to die at the end. I don't know what the stress is about. I'm excited.
You know, in the book, the little boy dies at the end, right? And obviously they changed that in the movie because they didn't want to kill a kid.
Yeah.
And Stephen King thanked the director for not killing the kid. So we didn't need to see that in real life.
All the shit he did in his fucking It book. Oh, not killing kids.
Yeah.
They can have an orgy, but let's not kill them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna butcher this name. Bjorn Freeze biting the tires. This is from CUJO, I'm guessing. Bjorn Freeze.
The dog Bichon Freeze biting the tires. Bichon Freeze.
Oh, right, Bichon Freeze.
Bichon Freeze. That's it. John, you definitely Googled the spelling of that, didn't you? Come on.
Skilly automatic. A little more volume, please. Is that both of us, or is it just Curtis? Because I feel Curtis is a bit low as well. Mine is as high as.
Don't know how to turn it up. Actually, it's all the way up.
Right. Tell me if I sound louder, Kurt. Ready? Am
Yeah.
I loud? Am I louder sounding?
Yeah.
Too loud?
No. Perfect.
There we are. So I turn my gain up. It should be a little dial. I might have a dial called gain.
How do I sound now?
Slightly louder. Yeah, there's something off with the mic. It's fine, like, but it's definitely like something wrong. I think. Too late now.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
That's fine.
Dick in the Dirt. You know, every time I see that name, I'm always worried it's like a troll because it's such a good name, but it's not. He's so CUJO is relatable because it could happen to anyone. A realistic scenario, 100%.
Oh yeah, it's so grounded. It's insane.
Hang on, are you telling me the Jeepers Creepers couldn't happen? I mean, come on, you know. Every child should have a healthy fear of rabies, John Moran. Yes, and zombies. They should be afraid.
Guys, squirrels aren't as cute and cuddly as you think they are.
Yeah.
Do not touch them. Don't try and pick them up.
Yes.
They've probably got rabies.
Right, I'm going to have my pick. Otherwise, I'll be reading comments all day. I'm going to go for Psycho 2.
Boy, that was my pick, boy.
Oh, there's not enough to go round. This is 1983 we're talking about.
I watched Psycho 2 last night, boy.
I don't
Just
care.
to prep for this.
Well, you can prep a little bit. I haven't got as
You
much.
can have Jaws 3D and I'll have Psycho 2.
No, I got something to say about Jaws 3, okay? Later. Psycho
I've got
2.
something to say about you, boy.
Psycho
Steve,
2.
I sent you this pick.
Listen,
Go
if
on,
if you
go on.
watched my picks of the 80s, this was the best of 83.
Yeah, just don't butcher because I had something great
I
planned.
haven't
Don't
got a lot
butcher
to
it.
say. I haven't got a lot to say about
Okay.
this. I was too busy doing my trivia at the start. That to my prep. Look, this is one of the most original sequels. Okay, because it's amazing. So the first one came out in 1960. Oh, I might be wrong.
22 years before this one.
And he basically serves that time in prison, which is so well done.
Yeah.
For the murder.
Mental hospital. You're butchering it, Jenks. Come on.
Oh, doesn't matter. Well, you can correct me. Anyway, and I love this film. I stuck it on. I actually watched this as a kid before I'd seen the first one. I didn't want to watch the first one. It was black and white, and I was a kid. I was like,
Yeah.
I watched this. I watched the first one later in life, but this one creeped me out. It's a strange one to sum up because it's not this plot is quite strange, isn't it? It's not like a straight up horror, but it has so many creepy elements.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I'll give you a chance now to say I haven't got too much detail, but
no, I'm only messing.
Anthony Perkins is awesome in this. Who's his son?
Oz Perkins.
Oz Perkins. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and did you know that Oz Perkins plays a young Bateman in this? Bates.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So there's a flashback scene where you can see him as a kid in the door handle going into his mother's room, and it's Oz Perkins.
That's awesome.
As a little boy, like, yeah, it's cool.
All right, this is completely opposite of horror. But have you seen Legally Blonde?
Why are we talking about Legally Blonde?
Have you seen?
I know he's in there.
Yeah. Because I was googling
him. Kid,
yeah, he's the genius. I was like, oh, that I knew I saw his face somewhere before.
Yeah.
Don't slag off.
The guy you directed Long Legs, like.
Yeah, don't slag off Legally Blonde, okay? Because I
never seen it, never will watch it.
I got a love for that film. Yeah. Anyway, carry on, Kurt. You can do your thing.
So I think, right, this is one of the best sequels ever made. And for me, and I've always thought this way, it is my favourite Psycho movie. Now, I appreciate the original one for being a classic.
Yeah.
It's a flawless movie, but this one is more up my street. Directed by Richard Franklin. Directed one of my favourite movies, another movie from 1986 called Link.
Tom Holland as well.
It's kind of why I went back and rewatched Psycho 2 yesterday. It was not that much to do with talking about it today. I've been craving a bit of Richard Franklin because of Link. Tom Holland's in it as well. He plays one of the deputies in it. He shows up in a few.
So he wrote Fright Night, or directed Fright Night?
He directed Fright Night and directed Child's Play.
Yeah.
He wrote this, and obviously Richard Franklin directed it. Richard Franklin was a massive Alfred Hitchcock fan, and he got the chance to do a sequel to one of his most iconic movie, and he absolutely knocks it out of the park. Like you said, Jenks, is ultra creepy.
Yeah.
And they just put a great spin on the story. They could have easily had Norman Bates come out of the psychiatric hospital and go back to his old ways. But it's a bit of a cat and mouse film. You don't know what's happening. There's so many scenes where they push your eyes the other way and you don't really know if he's come back, because you get the glimpses of him dressed up as his mother, and he's obviously starts to go a bit crazy and slip back into his old ways. I'm not going to spoil the ending, guys, because I don't feel like there's any need to, because I think the reveal in this movie is fantastic. So there's no need to spoil it. Someone in the live may not have seen this movie, but for me, it is an absolute masterpiece. It's the complete opposite to the first movie. It's not as straightforward. It's a lot more violent. You actually see the hits in this one. And Perkins is fantastic. The fact that it's set 22 years after the first one and it's perfect timing from where it is now. it's a flawless movie, right? But there's one scene last night, right, Jenks? I was laughing my head off, right? There's two actually, right? And in my head, one of them, I was like, you probably couldn't see that on VHS, so it didn't matter. But if you're watching this on 4K, you're going to see it. But there's a bit, right, where they go down after one of the murders has been reported. You've got that young couple who break into the basement
Yeah.
and they're sitting on the floor smoking and they get attacked by someone with a knife. And then the police come down to investigate it. And bear in mind, right, someone's come to the sheriff's office and said, my boyfriend has just been slaughtered in the basement, in Bates Motel basement, right, in the house. And the police walks in, and then he leans down next to this pile of logs and he goes, all clear here. He literally kneels down, puts his arm on the logs and just goes, all clear. Bear in mind they're investigating a possible murder with a known serial killer who's killed
Yeah.
6 people before.
Yeah.
And he just gives a quick, all
It's
clear.
it's the 80s or the early 80s.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I wonder if
With
Anthony...
that-
Oh, go on then.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I wondered if Anthony Perkins was like, he did Psycho 1 and they said, right, you'll have to wait 22 years for sequel because you have to be in jail. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
No work for you
Yeah,
until
yeah,
then.
And there's another bit as well, right, where so someone walks into the cellar with the cellar doors, but obviously because it's a set, you've only got the front of the house. When she opens up the cellar door, you can just see the flat floor and you can see her walk in. And you know when people do that thing behind the couch where they like pretend
Yeah.
to walk down the stairs? It's kind of like that woman where she kind of like
With like the lift.
ducks down and
Yeah.
like pretending she's walking in, but you can see like a black flat floor.
Yeah.
And I was thinking when I was watching it last night, you probably couldn't see that on VHS.
Yeah. There's so
The
much.
black
Yeah.
floor, like.
There's so much you can't see.
Well, Evil Dead got it right. They built, I don't know, like a 4-foot hole in the trapdoor, so there was actually some depth there, like, you know.
Yeah, I remember watching Predator on VHS, and you know when Carl Weathers gets his arm blown off. When I watched it on widescreen, or the other way around, I can't remember. You can see his arm tucked into his trousers, and it's the most. And he hasn't even got anything to cover his arm. You can see his skin.
Yeah.
It's like as if just like I'll be fine because they couldn't see it on a VHS. Yes,
Yeah, just to wrap up my thoughts on this one, guys. If you haven't seen this movie, you probably have. It's one of the most iconic franchises ever. It is a proper hidden gem. I think it's one that's been lost with how classic the first one is. But this is a truly special movie. I absolutely love it, Jags. I think it is tense from start to finish, easy to follow, and it's got one of the biggest endings ever. And one of the worst shovel hits you'll ever see in your life.
It's amazing.
I don't know how they pulled it off. I don't know how they pulled it off.
Do you know how good and iconic is that font they used in that poster?
Oh my God.
And it's the same font, I think, identical to the first one. I'm guessing it's the same.
Yeah, it is.
It looks
they've just
amazing.
tacked on the two, like.
Yeah. I was, when we did the 86 one, I was going to put on, you include Psycho 3, because it's really good as well. I remember it being good when I was a teenager.
I've never seen Psycho 3 or 4, right? And I watched Psycho 2 last night. And bear in mind, I started this month and I said, I'm not going to spend any money this month on films. I'm going to save up as much as I can because we've got a busy few months coming up. And I watched Psycho 2 last night. I've got it on Blu-ray. And I went into work today, went to HMV and bought the 4K box set of Psycho.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to watch the third and fourth one. So my pledge is gone, Jenks. I've spent money this month on films because I'm an addict.
I like number 3. I like it a lot. I watched it as a teenager. I haven't seen it as a grown-up.
Perkins directed the third one, I'm sure.
Yeah, he might have done the fourth one as well. I've seen the fourth one. The fourth one was a straight...
No, Mick Garris directed the fourth one, I believe.
All right. Well, it was straight to video, the fourth one. And I did like it because it was a prequel. He's on the... Yeah, have you seen it, did you say? No, you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it, but I know all about it. But
Yeah, he's on the phone to like a confession like line on the radio, and he's talking about his life when he's young. So he is in it quite a lot, but it is young Anthony Perkins, young mother, and his mother's really hot when she's young, which I suppose is based on like that TV show. No, the TV show is based on it. That
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, she's pretty hot as well. It's like, you know,
if you hear her voice in this one, where obviously you can't see her because she's dead, but he hears her voice in his head, and she sounds like the most like disgusting old hag ever.
Yeah.
Like, no man,
Yeah.
you shouldn't poison my tea.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. They invented the horrible mother, like
Oh yeah,
Agnes Skinner from The Simpsons.
yeah.
Yeah.
That horrible croaky voice, like.
Right, I can read a few comments. I'm a dude, yes, Jenks. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Frankie.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Frankie, pal. Thank you.
If Frankie says a few good bangers in 83, maybe not as great as mainstream releases like we had in 84, 85, 86, but there's some gems. Yeah, and I think that's why it's a good one to do 83, because we get to talk about things that, you know, we're not going to talk about any other time, especially 85 had some bangers. That's going to be
Oh
too
yeah.
easy. So you both sound fine. My end, Elistar, thanks. John Moran says, one of the best sequels that has no right being as good as it was. 100% agree with you. Yes. But tell you what, do you read the few, Kurt? You can't click them, can you?
No, they're not show. They're showing up as you click them.
Yeah, you read this
And
then.
there's now something covering the screen for me. Gets. Frankie says, Fight for Psycho 2, guys, lol. Great film. One of the best sequels ever made. Richard Franklin and the legend Tom Holland did great work with this one. Absolutely agree, pal. Outstanding film.
And Tom Holland also did, if I'm not mistaken, Langoliers, the movie.
Yes, he did. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
TV show, innit?
TV show,
series.
miniseries, yeah. Read that?
Ab says, bloody love Psycho 2, brilliant movie full of twists and turns. Do you know what? There's too many twists and turns. There's too many.
Yeah, that's right.
Psycho, the black and white movie, is an absolute classic. Got to be number one. But Jill, have you seen Psycho 2?
Yes, it needs
I
to be
agree
watched.
with you both, Wendy and Jill. Psycho 1 is an absolute classic. You can't deny that. But for me, I'm just being honest, I think Psycho 2 is the better film.
Yeah. You reading that?
I just spoke to the both of them, man.
All right, okay.
Jordan says, Jenks, I'm ahead, yeah. I combine things.
Fair
like.
enough.
What do you mean worst shovel hit? He makes great contact. Oh, I mean, it is the best shovel hit.
Yeah.
Ultimate contact, but nothing hurts more than a shovel.
Right, do you want to take another pick, Kurt?
Go on then. Jenks, I'm going to refresh a second, right? Because I've highlighted a comment and it's taken over the screen. I can't see my face. So bear with me 1 second.
I'm fucking nightmare tonight, mate. It's just me. Yes. So, do you know what? Because he's gone, I'm going to get the next pick. And I'm going to go for Jaws 3. Right, this is weird because this is actually in my good pick and my bad pick. I can't decide. I've hijacked your spot. Sorry, Kurt. You got more than me, so it doesn't matter. I was just saying, did you hear what I just said?
No. I see about your worst pick.
Yeah, so basically, this is a good pick and a bad pick. Because I don't hate this movie. Like, everyone calls it a shitty movie. It's obviously not as shitty as number 4. But the thing about Jaws 3 is that it's very original. The second Jaws is very similar to the first. It's perfectly serviceable film, the second one. But the third one, because it was Jaws 3D and it was very novelty, throwing shit at you. But you got Dennis Quaid in it. You got, what's his name? Lewis Gossett Jr. And it was written, believe it or not, by one of my favourite writers, Richard Matheson.
Oh, really? Did he write the script, or was it based on a novel that he wrote? Oh, wow.
It just says the script.
What a shame.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, do you know what? Maybe because he was big property back then, Richard Matheson, he probably wrote a very basic synopsis. What about if you set it in a water park, and that was basically that enough then? But yeah, so the basic premise, it's in a water park, and it's got like aquariums, and it's got a shark, and they've got a baby shark there that belongs to Jaws, I know it's not his real name, Jaws, and the shark,
Yeah.
the shark is attacking the sort of like water park, aquarium thing, water world thing, whatever you call it, because it's got the
Yeah, yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Now, I think that's a great premise. It's different. It's different from number one, number two, and it's got the series' biggest shark ever. It's like a fucking size of a bus. Have you seen this film,
I've
Kurt?
never seen it, Jenks.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the shoddy 3D effects, but I've never seen a Jaws sequel.
Oh, no,
No,
not even Jaws: The Revenge.
no, I've seen bits here and there. I've seen the one with Michael Caine again, bits here and there when they've
Yeah,
been on
yeah,
TV. But I was just never that into Jaws growing up. I
yeah.
think it's a great film. I was just never that into it as a film, to be honest. So
Um,
I never really pushed myself to watch the sequels. I
so
mean, I
I
was too busy watching Friday the 13th.
3D.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. So with Jaws, I would say that the first one's a classic. It's a full-on horror film. The second one is a good sequel, but it feels like it's very hard. You can mix them up. They're so similar. Obviously, the first one's better than the second one, but it's similar in tone. It's got the same actor. And it's just same thing happens again, another shark, and nobody's believing Roy Schneider.
Yeah.
It's now it's
Oh,
like,
Jenks,
well,
it's Rob Schneider.
Rob.
Can
Rob Schneider.
you
Yeah,
imagine Rob
oh,
Schneider in
I want to
Rob
see the
Schneider is Jaws.
is a stapler.
Rob
uh,
Schneider is a carrot.
right then, let me have a look. Ella Starr says, How are all your DVDs organized, Curtis? And how much space do they take up? A lot
Oh
of
my
space.
god.
I've seen
So
it.
the majority of my films are from
Shit.
like boutique labels, 88 Films, Arrow Video, Second Sight, Vestron. So the majority of my films are separated and what label they come from. I'd have my box editions all together and then my bog standard editions. And then any other edition then outside of those boutique labels, I will have films in terms of like sequels, directors. I don't do alphabetical because maybe a director's movie would be separate from. I'd like everything to be one. So I've got all my Tarantino movies, all my John Carpenter, Wes Craven, Toby Hooper. Everything's in order, and yeah, it takes up way too much space. Way too much space at the moment. I haven't set up my films properly because I've recently moved house. But yeah, you've seen it, Jenks. Is a
Yeah.
stupid amount.
Yeah, I used to have a shelf, not as big as yours, but pretty impressive. Out of all my friends, I had the biggest collection. And then, like I said to you before, once I had kids, no, sorry, once I switched to DVDs, I decided only to buy films I liked and not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
buy collection. Like I like Batman 1, I wouldn't buy, and Batman 2, I wouldn't buy 3 and 4, which when I was on VHS, I had all of them, even the shit ones. I did have Blair Witch 2 on DVD, so I didn't
Of
always
course you
stick with
did.
it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
once I had kids, then I ditched everything. I couldn't be bothered with clutter. Couldn't be
No,
asked.
do you know what? For me, like you were probably collecting because you liked films, whereas for me, I like physical media as much as I like films. So I see them as two separate entities. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I love collecting just as much as watching movies. So my
yeah,
collection will always be there. I'll always collect. Maybe at some point I'll get rid of my Blu-rays because I got too many 4Ks. But
yeah.
I'll always be a collector, and I've been collecting films since before I can remember.
Yeah,
And going back, VHS, DVD.
it's just art you're collecting, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I've
Uh,
got 3 versions of Street Trash. I don't need
Jordan,
3 versions.
John Moran says Jaws 3 is the best one. Even
Oh,
better than
where's Davey? Now that's fighting talk.
so Davy Death Ray. Oh gosh,
There we
this
are.
movie is so bad. Right. It is bad and good. So that's why it's somewhere in limbo between the worst and the best of 83. The bit when I was young, which I loved, which made me fucking freak out as a kid, was when the diver accidentally gets into the shark's mouth and he's still alive because the mouth is so massive that he's in there and he's not dead.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
just there. And it's like, fucking hell, that's a big shark. Yeah. Anyway, Frankie D says, "Hey, Jenks, Jaws 3 is one of those bad movies that I can't help loving. Yes, agreed. I guess I have some emotional attachment to it as I saw it in theatres on its release when I was 7 years old, already being a Jaws fan. Jaws 4? Nah, I doubt you feel like that. No way.
That's
Oh,
that's an awesome
hang
memory,
on.
mate.
Sorry. It's better than Revenge, which is Jaws 4 for sure. Answer my question. And then Ella says, last one, all Jaws 3 is just bad. Fair enough.
I may give it a watch at some point. I've seen bits of it here and there. I remember them being in the underground water thing.
Oh, yeah.
Underground
Yeah.
tunnel.
Jordan says, I was actually being sarcastic. Then I remembered how much worse 4 is. So in 4, the shark, I'm sure he looks up at the helicopter, and I thought, I know it's a Shaun of the Dead thing, but I don't think sharks can look up.
Yeah.
And it also roars like a dinosaur. It's got those like old-fashioned dinosaur roars that they had like the stock sounds, like you have in
Oh
cartoons.
yeah.
He's got that roar,
It's
which
like
is
the Wilhelm scream.
yeah, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
right, go for your pick, then, Kurt.
Oh, finally. Jesus.
I haven't got many
Um,
picks. It's all yours.
yeah, in all fairness, Jags. Right. I've got David Cronenberg's The Dead Zone. This is another Stephen King release from 1983. And this one saved David Cronenberg's ass because this was released the same year as Videodrome. Videodrome absolutely tanked at the box office, could have ruined his career. But luckily, Dead Zone came out in the same year. Dead Zone was a much bigger hit at the box office and with critics,
Yeah.
and it led him to direct The Fly. So without the Dead Zone, we wouldn't have The Fly. But this is, I'd say, a bit of a forgotten movie. I think a lot of people don't even know David Cronenberg directed it. It doesn't really feel like one that
Yeah.
slots into his early filmography that well. But it's a fantastic movie. Christopher Walken plays a man. He falls into a coma. When he gets out of the coma, he realizes that he can touch people and see their past, present, and future. And he starts using that to his advantage to help people. When that all goes wrong, he tries. When all that goes wrong, because he discovers a murder in the first half of the movie, he leaves town and he becomes a teacher again. He becomes a private tutor. And the same thing happens again, really. He can't escape this new ability that he has. And it leads him to Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen
Yeah.
or Martin Sheen?
Martin Sheen, not the
I
Welsh
get
guy.
confused. It leads him to Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen is the president, and he sees him at a rally, shakes his hand, and he sees that he's going to press the doomsday button. And oh my God, Martin Sheen plays such a great
Yeah.
villain in this movie. If it wasn't a horror movie, would have won a bloody Oscar because he is great in this movie.
Yeah.
But oh my God, what a fantastic movie. It's so dark and grim. Christopher Walken plays the part perfectly.
Yeah.
David Cronenberg directs the freaking hell out of this movie. It's a masterpiece. It's a bit of a slow burn, but it is so perfectly well put together.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where there's a map of Wales behind one of the characters.
That's freaky.
Yeah. There's a map of Wales.
You know, like when I never watched West Wing. West Wing was a political drama, and Martin Sheen plays the president in that. And every time I
Yeah.
see clips, I'm thinking, is he the same president from the Dead Zone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I saw this as a kid and I loved it. I love anything like psychic stuff, time travel things. And it's my mother my mother introduced me to all these films, not my dad. It's my
Yeah.
mother. Yeah, she loved Stephen King.
There's a really great moment where he comes to the realization that he can't really change the future with his abilities, and it's when he sees a vision that these group of kids are going to drown in a lake.
Yeah.
So they're playing ice hockey, I believe, Jenks, on the lake, and they all fall in and drown.
Yeah.
And he tries to stop it. They kind of listen to him, but 2 kids drown anyway. So regardless of him stepping in and helping them, 2 kids drown and die. And I think that's when he gets to the point where he's like, this ability is useless if I can't protect people.
Yeah.
And it's a great like middle point in the movie where he comes to this realization. I think it's I haven't read the book, so I don't know how faithful it is to the book, but I'm talking about script wise, it is a perfect script. It's
Yeah.
just fantastic,
Do
and
you
it's got
know,
such great pacing.
you love about Stephen King, right? Almost every one of his films has a title that nobody else would ever have, like Salem's Lot, The Dead Zone, Cujo.
Oh yeah,
It's
100%.
you know,
His biggest selling point is his titles. Come on,
yeah,
that's the best thing about Stephen King.
yeah, like with us, a part of the problem, the one of the reasons why I didn't watch Gerald's Game as a kid, read it as a kid, I thought, oh, Gerald's Game sounds boring. If I'd
Yeah, yeah,
known
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was about, I would have jumped in it. But yeah,
But and the way the dead zone is explained, like why it's called the dead zone, and that's what I mean by like these kids still drowning. There's a dead zone here that we can't get through.
yeah,
Um, it's great. I'm
yeah,
a huge fan of this movie, and I never watched it growing up. I watched it when I discovered David Cronenberg, and as in I'd seen a few David Cronenberg movies, but when I became aware of him, maybe when I was like 14, 15,
yeah.
um, I obviously watched all the films that I hadn't seen, and I hadn't seen Dead Zone. It's a cracker.
Yeah, I'd seen. I did. He did do Rabbit, didn't he?
Yeah, Rabid
Yeah,
and Shivers were his
yeah.
first two
I
movies.
think that's the first film I saw. At the time, I didn't know what directors were. Like I saw
Yeah,
The
yeah, of
Fly, I didn't
course.
care about stuff like that. I'm gonna read a few comments for there's a few
Yeah,
lingering
yeah, go
from
on.
Jaws 3. Wait a second. Hang on. Uh, John Moran says, oh no, sorry, I've read this. So John Moran says, isn't the phrase "jump the shark" from Jaws 4? It's actually not. It's from Happy Days Fonzie, but yeah, it should be. Frankie D says, I love Michael Caine's dancing in Jaws. Do you know, I've forgotten about that.
You know, an interviewer asked him once, "Why did you do Jaws 4?" And he said, "I bought my mother a new house. What are you going to
Yeah.
do about it?"
Yeah, some of the guys like, oh, no, that's it. He said the film that I bought with it. Yeah, some of the guys
The
says
film
in
I
it.
bought a house with. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Davy Deathray says, I love when they parody this on SNL.
yeah,
Back in the 80s, Christopher Walken's character would have had visions of the most inconsequential shit hilarious.
yeah, yeah. Because he touches someone and he's talking about they're going to run out of coffee or something. It's a great
Yeah,
sketch.
I don't
Yeah.
think people would know the reference if they didn't know. That to be
No,
the
no, no,
80s.
no.
Agree, Curtis. Fabulous film. Christopher Walken has such a presence about him. Whatever movie he's in, yes, he's awesome.
Yeah, and he does, and he's a scary guy. Like Tim Burton wanted David Bowie to play the mayor of Gotham in Batman Returns.
All right.
David Bowie wasn't available,
Max
and
Shriek,
the
Shrek.
studio pushed for Christopher Walken. And Tim Burton said, "I'm not working with that guy." And when they asked him why, he said, "He terrifies me." And they wore him down eventually, and Chris Walken did play the mayor of Gotham. But
Yeah.
yeah, he said, "I do not want to be in the same room as that guy."
And he got him
Tim
for,
Burton saying that,
I know,
mind,
he
the
got him
most
for
morbid guy ever.
Sleepy Hollow then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Uh,
the last 10 minutes, Jenks,
yeah,
when he gets his
yeah,
head back.
he's an amazing actor.
Yeah, he's iconic.
Right. My pick now is, you've got all the good ones. I'm going to go for this one because I did put a few on you that I can't remember that much about them, but they were so iconic. I want to put them on. I'm going to go for this one. Twilight Zone, the movie. Now, I do know a bit about this. I love this as a movie. It's not flat out
Yeah.
horror, but it's definitely enough horror in it to chuck it on. This was directed by John Landis, Spielberg,
Steven Spielberg.
Joe Dante, and one more, George Miller, who did Mad Max.
Yeah.
What a fucking lineup. Absolute
I know.
amazing.
I know.
So this film had some tragedy in it, and I think you probably know about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It
Oh, of
was
course. Yeah.
the John Landis segment where the racist guy goes back in time and he's stuck in Vietnam, I think. I can't remember.
Nazi Germany.
No, Nazi
Yeah.
Germany, sorry. And the helicopter crash happens and some kid dies, and I think the helicopter.
And the actor.
Oh yeah, the actor
The
died
actor
as well.
died as
Yeah,
well.
it
The actor died.
it was horrendous, but nobody.
Yeah.
It was very controversial. But anyway, that segment's awesome. My favorite segment. Well, the bit that used to freak me out as a kid is the opening scene with Dan Aykroyd in the car.
Dan Aykroyd. Yeah. You
And
want
I
to see
didn't.
something scary.
Yeah, and I don't think I must have seen Ghostbusters when I watched it, but when I rewatched it, I thought, oh, I forgot that Dan Aykroyd was the guy in the car.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good opening. Oh my
But
God.
that monster, the bluish monster, fucking buzzing. It's
Yeah.
buzzing.
Do
Uh,
you know who's got the weakest segment?
who?
Steven Spielberg. It's the old
Uh,
people's home.
oh, is it the one with the big eye and she opens the door? Is that the one?
Oh, I can't remember too much, but it's about old people becoming kids again, going out and playing, and
Can't remember.
they're all remakes of the episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, every segment.
So
The best segment is John Lithgow on the plane.
yes, so that was based on a William Shatner episode, a
William
black and white
Shatner.
one. That is written by my favourite writer ever, Richard Matheson, who we mentioned earlier. He did I Am Legend, did
Yeah.
Incredible Shrinking Man, loads of stuff, and it's so good. If you've seen, you don't watch The Simpsons? Do you watch it?
I love Simpsons. Yeah, of course I do.
Well, they did an amazing parody of this. So it's basically the segment that everybody loves is the monster on the side of the plane, the gremlin on the side of the plane. Nobody believes him. They think he's nuts, so he's drunk, whatever. And the monster is attacking all the fucking wires or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a great segment. And have you seen you've seen Ace Ventura, haven't you? When
Yeah.
he goes, "There's something on the wing, something," and I didn't
Yeah.
know the reference. Oh, Shatner was the original one. Um,
Yeah, and there's another one as well where John Lithgow and Shatner are both on a plane together. I don't
is
know what it's
there?
from, but they mention something, and he says something like, "You too," because I think he says he sees something on the wing, and
Right.
it's William Shatner and John Lithgow together. I can't
Yes.
remember exactly,
Was it like an advert
but
taking the
yeah.
piss or something?
No, it's on a show, I think. I
Oh,
think it's on a
well,
show.
uh,
Maybe someone in the comments can help, but
it was an excellent segment, and I think that's what cemented like Richard Matheson as like a really good fucking
yeah.
writer. Really good writer. He's dead now, bless him. But he is. I even loved his like lesser known films like What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we've got Reese Wilson. He's finally able to make a live.
Yes.
Nice to see you not on nights tonight, pal. Unless your time difference means if you're on nights, you'd be sleeping right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
It's time
thanks
travel
for jumping on,
basically.
Reese. Thanks for jumping on, Reese. We appreciate it, pal. Frankie D says, yeah, Vic Morrow and two child actors killed in making John Landis segment
Yeah.
tragic.
Fucking
Yeah, it's
bonkers.
mental that he didn't do prison time because there was also laws broken about kids working that late as well.
Yeah.
Way past the time they're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
Davies says Matheson also wrote Stir of Echoes.
Yes.
Great stuff there. Yeah, you're a big fan of that one, and you.
I've read the book, and the book is worth a read. It's not quite the same as the film. They're both good in different ways, but yeah, really good.
Yeah. Right. My pick.
Go on.
I've literally just gone for 3 Stephen King ones here because it was a great year for Stephen King. Stephen King is one of my favorite people in horror. Now, he doesn't direct the movies, but I consider them to be Stephen King movies.
Yes, of course they are.
This one is a bit different because you've got none other than John Carpenter on the helm directing this one. My favorite director of all time. I absolutely love this guy. And I think this is a bit of a forgotten one in John Carpenter's catalogue. Like Dead Zone and David Cronenberg, I think a lot of people forget that John Carpenter even directed this one. But it has got John Carpenter written all over. I've heard a few people say it doesn't really fit in his catalogue. It absolutely does.
Yeah,
You've got
totally.
the cinematography. Some of the actors, Henry Dean Stanton turns up. And it's got that score as well, the music in there. And it is it's the best film. It's the best killer car movie by a long shot because I'm not saying I'm scared of Christine, right? But somehow they make this car scary because it's got a great origin story. You see the grip it takes on Arnie, the descent to darkness he goes through in this film, and it's just a great process. You've got some fantastic car killing scenes in this one, specifically when Christine's engulfed in flames chasing one of the bullies into a petrol station. Don't know how they pulled that scene off. It's fantastic. But I know you're not a fan of this one, Jenks, because you're not into killer car movies. But I think, right, this one deserves so much more love, especially if you like John Carpenter. He is pissed all over the set of this movie. He's marked his territory.
Yeah.
This is absolutely a John Carpenter movie. And I would say growing up, I didn't have as much appreciation for this one. Similar to what you said, Jenks, just cars aren't scary. But growing up and appreciating filmmaking and
Yeah.
films themselves, I've becoming more and more fond of this movie. It's slowly climbing up the ranks of my John Carpenter ranking. Basic plot of the movie, guys, for anyone who hasn't seen it. Arnie is a bit of an outcast. He's a bit of a nerd. He stumbles upon this car in someone's driveway outside their shed. Is absolutely torn to bits. It's an absolute wreck. And for something's calling him to this car and he wants it. He buys it off this guy. Takes it back to his house and starts to care for it, starts to, spruce it up. And he weirdly starts to get cooler. So before he goes into complete darkness, he starts to get cooler. He gets the girl and he gets the friends, everything. And then Carrie starts to get jealous, and that's where the film gets really good for me. You've got that great scene when they're in the drive-in theatre and his girlfriend's in the car, the door's locked, and she starts choking. It's just fantastic. What do you think of this one, Jenks?
Right. It would be better if it was called John Carpenter's Stephen King's Christine, because
Yeah.
he needs to have his name on it. I look, I don't hate this film by any means, right? But it's kind of laughable. Like
Oh, don't say, wait there now. Don't say laughable.
it's just like I don't like, it's a cool effect when the car gets smashed up and all the dents are like hey, it was
And give it. This is my intensity stare, right? So I'm going to zoom in until you finish talking, so you can look into my eyes while you call this film laughable, Jenks. Look at that.
Right. When I found this like it's a bit silly with the fucking car
not
chasing you. It's just nonsense. Like I don't mind him becoming evil because it's a bit like Spider-Man when he's or the ring where it's kind of infecting him like Lord of the Rings when the longer he's got it in his presence is more he's getting like corrupted by it. But it's just like a car can't fucking you could jump in a fucking bin or something. Like a wheelie bin and just avoid it. Or a wall.
Well,
It can't get you. Go home.
this is the thing, Jenks, is that this car's got such a life that it could hop up and hit you on the bin.
It can't come up the stairs or to my bedroom.
It could. I'm telling you, no, it could. There's literally a bit, right, where Christine crams into a small crack. Well, I wouldn't say crack, but
Yeah, like a narrow lane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
how you can say it's laughable is beyond me, James. That is blasphemy, boy. Blasphemy. But you always do. You always rip films down by trying to call out for logic when it's a film. Oh, I could just jump on a bin. Do you know what I mean? If you're being chased on the road by a car, the last thing you're going to think about doing is jumping on a bin, Jenks.
Look, I'm not saying a car couldn't kill me if it drove and knocked me down, but if
I'll
knew
get my
that
license soon, Jenks, and you're having it. You see what you see. I'll be driving straight down Llanelli, right? And I'd like to see you avoid me by jumping on a bin.
I want to see how many people you can kill. Now, see, Jenks, I killed loads of people, and they could not get away from me. And one kid was on a wheelie bin. I just knocked him down, knocked him off. Have you seen? You don't watch South Park, do you? Do you watch South Park?
You don't know me, Jenks.
Okay, well, do you ever seen the episode?
We talk about South Park all the time. You were literally talking about it in London 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, Grey Dawn. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah.
With the old people, and then the cars are dangerous, and then they're all hiding, and the car comes up the stairs, and they're hiding in the bedroom. I think we lost it, and the headlights come on. There's no ground. Where the hell are we? He's in the bedroom. That's Christine to me. South Park.
Tonight, right? You've asked me. You went, oh, you don't watch Simpsons, do you? Of course I watch Simpsons and South Park. Come on.
What I meant, look, because I'm a hardcore fan and I know my way around all the seasons and everything. That's what I meant. I knew you watched some, but you're talking, there's 800 episodes of The Simpsons. I meant, are you hardcore?
I'm a hardcore South Park fan.
Right. Okay, let me read some of these. Can you not access these anymore?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah, I can.
I don't know what's going on. You read a few.
Right. Davey Deffrey says, oh, Christine is so damn good. The FX, the music, the lighting, the film is gorgeous. 100% agree with you. I got to see this in cinema last year. I had a bit of a Christine year. Showed it to my girlfriend for the first time in cinema. So last year, right, I took my girlfriend to see Day of the Dead and Christine for the first time in cinema. I'm ultra jealous. Frankie says Christine is great. It's a good adaptation by John Carpenter. Absolutely. Abby says Christine is one of my all-time favourites. The J-Rocker Christine is a great movie. Oh, you're outnumbered, you Jenks boy.
Oh, well.
Not that you care. Not that you care. You're happy just destroying people's lives with your awkward views.
Yes.
Reese says, I love Robert Prosky as the garage owner in this movie. Well, don't think about it too long if you're out your fucking ass. Yeah, he's great. And he is Gremlins 2. He's the, what's his name in Gremlins 2, man? He's his friend who runs the horror channel. He's dressed as Dracula.
I can't remember. Do you know?
Yeah, well,
very
it is
yeah.
him. But yeah, he's great. Yeah. He looks like a guy who spits out chewing tobacco. He's always chewing something. Frankie D says Stephen King got a thing for bringing inanimate objects to life with a sinister agenda.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I haven't seen Maximum Overdrive. I've been warned off it.
Jordan says Christine is superb. Can't believe JC didn't want to do it. Oh, definitely. And he was gonna follow us up with Firestarter, I believe. There's rumors that he got fired because the thing underperformed, but he denies it. I don't know what really went down, but yeah, I'm glad he didn't direct Firestarter. I think it's a good film, but the story isn't that great. It's not something that's ever gripped me, you know.
I've never seen it. I've never bothered.
It's a decent film, but it's not one I think about very often.
Yeah. Is it a poor man's Carrie?
Well, you could say so, but there's a lot of there's some similarities in terms of powers and that. It's vastly different in story. It's just about a father and daughter, and he's trying to get his daughter somewhere away. Someone wants to take her to a lab to test on her, and it's about them two on the road, then running from them. It's a decent film. Drew Barrymore was brilliant in it as a kid, but it's just never been one that's like flown out to me. You know, I watched it out of necessity.
Yeah. You read it? Is it the end?
Yeah, I read that.
Oh, sorry. Right. It's my pick. Have I got any left?
Yeah, you've got Videodrome in it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do Videodrome. I think I might do The Keep.
I haven't seen The Keep in a long time.
Yeah, neither have I. I put a lot of these up because they're classics. The Keep, I was going to say it came out 83, but it's obvious. Look, the great thing about it, your dad used to have this on big box VHS.
I know, I watched it.
And as a kid, I thought, I don't want to watch a film about Nazi soldiers. That sounds boring. That sounds like war film. But the premise is excellent. And you've got these sort of Nazi soldiers taking kind of like camp at this. They're trying to, they hold up on this sort of like, I don't know what you call it, like a tomb or something. And there's some sort of like, the keep. Yeah. But it's like, a keep. Yeah, we don't call it a keep in real life, you know. And then there's some evil presence there. It is great. And you know what? It's so weird seeing Ian McKellen as a youngster, because he's literally been old all his life.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a kid, I didn't like this film. I found it boring. But it is a great film, and it's very underrated. And it is kind of got lost in history because nobody talks about this film.
Well, yeah. Do you know why? Because Michael Mann disowned it and refused to release it for a long time. I don't think it got past video for a long time.
Is it?
Michael Mann, who directed Collateral and some other great
Miami Vice
mainstream movies with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, didn't want anything to do with this movie, but has recently had the 4K treatment from Vinegar Syndrome, I believe. I missed out on it, and it was stupid expensive.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this movie since I used to watch it on VHS, but it was one I always went back to watch when I was a kid, so I'm quite familiar with it. It's a fantastic movie. It's one of the best atmospheres.
Yeah.
There's something in the air when you're watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you've got that wind and the hollow walkways in the tomb, whatever you want to call it. It's so atmospheric. I think Michael Mann did a great job, and I don't know why he's disowned it.
Yeah, I think
no idea.
The biggest appeal for me is Nazis certainly in life in Hollywood movies. They are the most frightening things of all. And when you got a film where they've met their match, when even they're shitting themselves,
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
fucking awesome.
And the monster, it looks like a suit, but it still looks great. It's got that
Yeah,
80s flair.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm dying to watch this film again. I'm definitely going to jump on it soon. I mean, I haven't seen it in maybe 18 years, Jenks. It's been a
yeah.
long time.
I
But
haven't
yeah,
seen it for
very
years
fond of
either.
this one growing up.
Yeah. Right. Oh, we got Tyler Adams just joined us. Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
what's happening, pal? How you doing?
How's it going? Do you want to do a pick again? We haven't done any bad ones actually. I mean,
Oh,
Jaws came
I
close
was gonna do a bad one now, Jenks.
because it's coming up to
Um,
10 past.
Um, I've got The Prey from 1983. So I've got big beef for this one, right? I've got big beef with Arrow Video for this one, right? Because the majority of my films on Arrow Video, because they really scrape the barrel on cult movies and unknown movies, right? And this cover, I don't think they designed this cover. I think that's the original one, but they did their own, they do their own cover art for the films. And I bought it with that cover. I thought, oh my God, this looks like the most epic movie ever. And
Yeah,
they've got a big problem, right, with making shit movies look great by getting really cool, slick artists in to do great cover
yeah,
art.
that is brilliant.
And yeah, I haven't got the Blu-ray with me now. I wish I could show you. It is the coolest cover ever, right? It looks like he looks a bit like Jason, but without the mask.
Yeah,
Um, right. This is on one of my shit pics. I can't give it too much flack because it does look like it was made by a group of teenagers with a camera, a few friends in the woods.
yeah,
But I bought this film, and like I said, a lot of my horror are blind buys on Arrow. So the majority of the horror films I've seen are through Arrow Video, and this was one of the ones I bought. Um, it is so bad, Jenks, and I'm telling you, even with a low budget and maybe lack of skills and experience in the industry of making films,
yeah.
um, but it is so painfully bad. The design on the monster, the maniac, is terrible. It's a mix between Frankenstein and Jason. He's got a bit of a deformity to his face, but he's got a big head. Um, and when I was watching it, I realised that they probably couldn't get it up to the time they wanted to, so they just went back out into the woods, right,
Yeah.
and filmed 10-minute scenes of trees because there's so many shots in this movie, right? You've got to sit through about 4 or 5 minutes of a squirrel on a tree. I swear to God, Jenks, there's so many overly long shots in this movie, and I guarantee you they chopped it up and they went, guys, we're like 20 minutes short here. Like this doesn't pass as a movie. It's a short film. So they just went back out into the woods and filmed trees and shit. It's a
So what's
like
the plot then? Just like a killer in
oh
the woods,
oh yeah, group of teenagers go into the woods. I think they're mountain climbing.
right?
So they've got the gear and shit. They're mountain climbing, and there's a killer in the woods. Now I can't exactly remember the killer's lore. If he's got a backstory, I don't think he does. But it's just one of those movies that came on the back of Halloween and Friday the 13th, trying to cash in on this killer in the woods. And it is one of the worst slashes I've ever seen. Again, I can't give it too much shit because it is ultra low budget. And I mean ultra low budget.
Yeah.
Arrow were wrong for releasing this one. They really scraped the barrel. I feel like they went down someone's basement and found an old VHS tape of this. I don't even think this movie was initially had a release date. It was never released. And Arrow Video found it in someone's basement and went,
So
we'll put a cool cover on and release it.
so why? But why though, Kurt? Why did you get a tattoo? It doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Look how cool that cover is.
it is awesome. Even the
And the
f-
and
even
the and the right, the
the,
font.
the font. I was going to say the font is amazing. It's
Yeah,
top
yeah, yeah.
notch. Yeah, I haven't seen it. So if you're saying it's shit, I've no
Well,
fucking hope for me to watch it.
yeah, well, this is my thing. You can make fun of me all you want on the picks that I like,
Yeah,
but there's always something to love.
yeah,
Street trash, it's got something about it that you can enjoy, that you can get behind. It's got a flair. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know what makes a film good, and sometimes a film can just be bad, but not in a good way.
yeah,
It
yeah,
can just be shit and not enjoyable. I mean, I've
yeah.
got to be engaged at least.
Well,
Um,
well, that's the thing. See, people always say like everything's subjective, and it's like, no, it's not. Some things are shit. Innit?
yeah, because I'll always tell you, Jenks, that it's a shit film, but I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to give it 5 stars.
No, no.
And I can tell you, right, that you may love this film, but I know it's a shit film. It's not a
Yeah,
very well made movie, but you can get enjoyment out of it. And a few months back, I actually put a post up on Instagram about this movie, and I dared someone to like it. I said, "Can I find someone on Instagram that likes this movie? Because I'm passionate
Your
about it."
brother.
And yeah, someone did comment, and they're a big fan of this film. So
Well, isn't that amazing, though? Isn't that a great thing, world we live in, where there is always somebody that
yeah,
likes something
exactly.
shit?
Yeah. Like, so let's make a movie, Jenks, and hopefully at least one person would like it.
Yeah. Your
We'll
mother
have one more
probably.
person on our live. Yeah.
Look, Dave, he says street trash gets a lot of play on this channel.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Davey?
That's-
It's all Jenks. I
yeah,
would have
no.
happily just told everyone I like street trash. It's Jenks.
Do you know
And I've
what?
got to the point now where I have to bring it up just to wind
It's
him up.
right. This is the reason, because you were banging on about it so much. I know you
No,
said
I
it was
wasn't,
no.
Jenks.
I
I
don't.
wasn't.
I'm not saying you were trying to sell it to me. I'm saying you were talking about it, and you showed me the cover, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And we were talking about it, and I said, "I'm going to watch it. It's the only shit film I've seen. Like all the other crap, I can't be asked
Didn't
to
I
watch."
tell you not to watch it? I was with you and I said, don't watch it. I told you not to watch it.
I've still got PTSD, man.
And then I sat there miserable for an hour and a half watching you watch it. Just disgusted.
No, you were looking at me like this.
As if.
Look, you knew there's a good bit coming up, and you're watching me to go, "Oh, is he going to react?"
Yeah,
And all you saw
bit
me,
where
all you saw
one
me
of
was a
the
guy
tramp's
shaking
foot
me.
melts.
Oh, for fuck's sake! it's so fucking shit. It's scientifically shit. That's where I came from. Shit. um,
I'll have you know, right? It has got a sequel, remake, whatever you want to call it. I heard it was a remake, no, a sequel.
what?
And see,
Street trash.
yeah, the new one, directed by
I started watching it.
CUJO.
I switched it off.
Yeah, I know. You turned it off when the cop had his willy out.
I know they did that to be in tone with the original, but it was like because the first bit's all right. Oh, this is quite cool. It's actually melting a tramp.
Yeah.
I watch it. Yeah,
Scientifically melting a tramp.
yeah, it looked all right. I thought, I'll watch this. Maybe it's better than you. It can't be worse. Turns out it can be. Should we do one more? I'm run out now. Maybe do a crap one, or maybe do Videodrome, or that a microwave one.
Ah, right. So I didn't add Videodrome. I am a fan of Videodrome, but it's such a complex movie, and I haven't seen it in a long time. So
Yeah.
I'm not in any state to talk about that movie.
No,
So I'm
I'm
not
the
going to do
same.
Videodrome.
I'm gonna pop it up for respect. It came out.
Yeah.
I love James Woods. I put it up for you really because I have seen this film. I did like it at the time, but I was very young. I didn't understand it. It was very confusing. I remember there was a vagina in his belly or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's way ahead of its time. You know, you've got VR headsets and virtual
Yeah.
reality. It really does push the boundaries. Deborah Harry is stunning in this movie, perfectly
yeah,
casted.
she's great.
Obviously James Wood's great in it, and it's got some of the most bizarre moments ever. I mean, there's a scene where loads of, in fact, I do know a little bit about Videodrome. I'm giving myself a hard time.
I only knew
There's
about
a
the
bit,
vagina
right,
in his belly.
where loads of guts fly out of the TV, right? The
Yeah.
TV explodes and loads of guts fly out. Well, that was sheep intestines, and it took them ages to get the intestines. And by the time they got them, they couldn't shoot that scene for a week. So the pig intestines were were on set for a week fermenting. And when they actually got to do the scene, it was the worst smell ever.
Oh God.
They did it, and it didn't work because the pump that pushes the pushed the guts out
Yeah.
didn't quite work. It didn't explode as much as they wanted it to, so they had to rebuild the TV, reset it up, and do it again. Horrific.
So
gents.
they couldn't even put him in the fridge.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Either
don't
way,
know
they were
part, but I
off
know,
anyway.
Yes, I know that by the time they got a film with it was an absolute stench.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this one, like I said at the start of the podcast, this one could have sunk David Cronenberg's career.
Yeah.
It made 1.3 million on a 6 million budget. It absolutely tanked at the box office. It wasn't released on video and VHS until 1990, Jenks.
What did I watch it on then? It must have been in the 90s
just
then.
completely pushed to the side, right? Didn't get release on VHS until 1990. But yeah, bit of a forgotten movie when it came out. But obviously, it's probably David Cronenberg, one of David Cronenberg's most iconic movies. It's an absolute cult classic now. People love this movie. I can't go into detail about this movie because it's a movie you need to watch with fresh eyes and you can talk about it. I know a lot about the making of it and some bits because I'm a big David Cronenberg fan, but I can't say it's one that I go back to very often because it's such a tough watch. But it's a fantastic film.
Yeah, I watched it with our uncle, and I remember just enjoying it because I do like James Woods. But I didn't understand what's going on. The TV was talking to him, and it was just like, what the fuck is going on? As a kid, I was like, this is way beyond what my brain can take.
Yeah, well, David Cronenberg wrote the script because when he was a kid in Canada, he found a way to alter his antenna so he could get late night American channels. And after
Okay.
12 o'clock, they would show the worst shit you could possibly think of, borderline porn and the darkest movies you can possibly think of. And he became a bit obsessed with the thought of someone watching films and shows because of their curiosity about liking
Yeah.
dark things. And he kind of had that growing up. It's kind of why he ended up directing the films he directed.
Yeah.
So it's loosely based on his curiosities when he was a kid, watching late night American TV that he shouldn't have been watching, obviously. And that's kind of what it's about. James Woods finds this underground channel and ends up going down this wormhole. But yeah, it's so bizarre. It's such a bizarre movie. He was brave directing this one because he turned down, I think, Return of the Jedi. When did Return of the Jedi come out?
83?
It was either
Oh,
Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. So he was offered the gig to direct that. He turned it down to direct Videodrome.
I think he made the right choice because nobody knows who
Oh,
directed those two films. Everyone
no,
assumes it was
no.
George Lucas.
Definitely. He definitely made the right choice. Just
Yeah.
because this film tanked doesn't mean he shouldn't have made it. It's obviously garnered a massive
Yeah.
audience now. But it's a great film. I just haven't seen it in a very long time.
1 second, I'll read a few of these. Ella Star said, I can't find Street Trash streaming anywhere. I'm so intrigued. It's on YouTube for free. You can stream it for free.
Okay, you can also watch Dawn of the Dead 04 for free on
Look,
YouTube.
that's why I never said how shit it must be, because I knew you were going to say that, you twat. It sounds awful.
Don't awful.
Yeah, lovely.
Don't confuse it with the new one. It'll be the 80s one. They've got very similar covers, similar artwork.
Reese Wilson says, Videodrome is truly bizarre one. Some awesome body horror effects. Though, Cronenberg's the master, isn't he? He's absolutely...
The gun hand. Oh my God, when his hand fuses with a gun.
I tell you where that kind of comes back in play. It's actually the last horror film I ever saw of his was Existence. It's a weird pronunciation. Yeah, is Jude Law. It's on the cinema.
Jude Law.
It's spelled like existence, but it's pronounced like existence. Yeah, it's weird. It's a big flop, but it had like a weird gun that was made of chicken bones, and it would
yeah. You're spot on.
Frankie D says Sleepaway Camp is definitely worthy mention, guys. I did see that on the list, but I haven't seen it. I thought Curtis would have mentioned it, but he didn't.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't hate it. So it was neither or on each side. Yeah, Frankie, that ending is so bizarre. You obviously haven't seen the ending of you, Jenks. You haven't seen the film.
I have not seen Sleepaway Camp. Big surprise.
Yeah, it's meant to be this big reveal, but it's become it's become a bit iconic for how laughable it is. Well, I wouldn't say laughable, but they swung for the fences, like.
Yeah. Should we end on something stupid? Should we end on this? Because I haven't seen it. I'm intrigued to know. I'll be excited to know because I've seen this cover pop up loads of times when I've been doing research for our channel, and I'm like, I bet you Curtis owns this, and he fucking does.
I do own it.
I do. Yeah.
I do own it.
Right.
I put it on you for a laugh, right? I haven't got much to say about this film.
Let's end on a high. Give me the plot. Because I'm
No, I haven't
intrigued.
got a plot for you. I haven't got a plot. It's that I watched it once years ago, and I can't remember much about it. It's a ridiculous movie. He basically kills people and microwaves them. But it is a great cover. It's iconic. I bought it on Arrow Video. I don't even think I finished it. It was one of those movies that I
Oh,
put
that must be
on.
shit.
I knew I would hate, but I bought it anyway because I was in a stage where I was just buying anything Arrow were releasing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't got much to say about this one, Jenks. I put it on for a bit of a laugh.
So it's
Um,
not even worth watching just for the hell of it because it's so shit. It's painful, is it?
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
painful one.
Uh, right, I'll read a few.
Um,
What are you going to say?
yeah, go
Sorry.
on.
Great cover, Tyler Adams says. Yes, it is a great cover. And the guy's lips look strange. Is his lips just badly drawn,
He's
or
like,
they look swollen?
he's
Um,
like,
yeah, Eli Cortez is on in the house. What's up, Jenks and Curtis and all the twisted
oh
nights?
fuck. Hey, what's happening? What's
How's it
happening,
going,
Eli?
dude?
How you doing, pal?
Uh,
Thanks for jumping on, mate.
uh,
Although we're going to be wrapping up in a bit now.
yes, but you can watch the replay. The Poop Angel says it looks overcooked. Yes, definitely. Mike Eli Cortez shares a sentiment. Says Microwave Massacre was pretty shit. Right,
If
it must
yes,
be
we've
shit
got a
if
first on the channel.
it must be shit if you and Eli think it's shit. Can you imagine I watched it? I'm gonna go, you both wrong. This is class.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't see
top
all the
tier stuff, like.
you didn't see all the hidden camera angles and Uh, yeah. Taylor Adams says so it looks like Mr. Bean licking his lips. Yeah, he does. Right. I need to wrap it up because I'm up really early tomorrow.
Yes,
Are you got anything else to add?
No, that was a fantastic episode. Thank you to everyone who jumped on. Unfortunately, we've just got the most people in the live. But sorry, guys, we do have to wrap things up. We've been going for just under hour 30 here. I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for work. And I've got to rearrange my bedroom because I've ripped the place apart to do the setup. So I've got a lot of shit to do after this podcast. But
Yeah.
like always, you're all outstanding people. Thank you so much for jumping on. I know we had a bit of a change this week. We were meant to do Sunday. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. I had an absolute blast doing it. I think this is going to be a long running series. We'll just keep churning the years out because it's
Yeah.
nice to talk about. Like I said last week, it's nice to talk about films we don't usually get to talk about, like Microwave Massacre.
Yes. So we won't be doing it every week, but we'll be certainly going through as we go and
When we haven't got a new film to review. Innit?
yes.
Yeah.
And we will be going back to Would You Survive because I really enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
But thanks for jumping on, guys. We won't be here Sunday because I'm away in a concert. The Darkness I'm going to see. Don't really care about them, but they're playing locally, so I thought
Funny
Swansea.
enough, my girlfriend said, "Oh, who's Jenks going to see Sunday?" I went, "I don't know." He went, "It must be someone shit if he didn't invite you."
I don't even care about the Darkness. I like the I Believe in a Thing Called Love, but because it's in Swansea, it's on a Sunday, and it's something to do with my
Yeah.
missus. But yeah, listen, guys, we'll be back the following Sunday as normal because I do enjoy Sundays. If you're on Facebook, join our group. It's in the description. If you want to join our membership and support the channel, you can join up for as little as 99 pence/99 cents. And if you know anybody who likes this kind of thing, horror, rankings, reviews, we do a pre-recorded one in the week as well. We did a review this week of 20 Days Later. But every Sunday we do something like this, talking shit. And and we try to read every comment because we enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
it. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Yes, cheers all. We'll see you next Sunday.
Yes, a week Sunday. All the best.
Week Sunday.
Have a good evening. Cheers, guys.